You know the words, right? Love yourself. You've probably heard it 1,000 times, but for so many of us, it's just so much easier said than done. We still feel that, I don't know, that emptiness, that nagging voice in our heads. So today, we're going to break down why that is, and more importantly, how we can actually start to change it.
It's such a strange feeling, isn't it? We get it. We know we're supposed to love ourselves. We're told it's the key to everything. But still, so many of us walk around feeling like we're just not quite good enough. So where does that feeling, where does that inner critic even come from?
And right off the bat, I want to make one thing super clear. If you struggle with this, it is not your fault. This is not some kind of personal failure. Not at all. It's really just a result of the world we live in and, well, how our minds are wired.
It starts when we're kids, right? We're taught to measure ourselves by comparing our grades, our achievements, how we look. And this whole system creates the perfect breeding ground for society's biggest and most profitable lie to take hold.
Think about it. The consumer society really only works if you feel like something's missing. Every ad is whispering, hey, buy this, and then you'll be happy. Get this job, and then you'll finally be worthy. It turns our self-worth into this moving target that's always just out of reach. And all that noise from the outside, well, eventually, it doesn't stay outside. It gets in. It becomes this voice inside our own heads, like a narrator that's just constantly judging everything we do. And that's him. That's the inner critic.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. That blunt, harsh thought that just hits you out of nowhere after you make a tiny mistake. And in that moment, man, it feels like the absolute truth, doesn't it?
Or maybe it's this one, the voice that's always worried about the future. It tries to protect you by keeping you small, by convincing you not to even try something new. But here's the thing you have to remember. That voice isn't you. It's just a mixtape of old stories and fears that your mind has learned to play on repeat. So, if we know this is happening, why is it so hard to just stop it? Why does fighting these feelings seem to make everything worse? Well, this next metaphor really helps to explain it.
Just picture it for a second. That sudden feeling of being stuck, that rush of panic. Your first instinct, your deepest urge is to fight, to struggle and thrash your way out. It feels like the only logical thing to do. But with quicksand, that's the absolute worst thing you can do. The more you struggle, the more it pulls you down. And that is a perfect metaphor for our painful emotions. When we fight our anxiety, we just get more anxious about being anxious. We get stuck. We sink. So the escape route, it's completely counterintuitive. It's the exact opposite of what your brain is screaming at you to do. You have to stop struggling. You have to relax, spread out, and just float. Now, it doesn't magically teleport you to safety, but it stops the sinking. It gives you a moment to breathe, to get your energy back so you can start to move forward. And that, right there, is the heart of acceptance.
So if self-love isn't about winning some kind of war against our own feelings, then what in the world is it? I think it's time we gave it a much better definition.
Self-love is not a magic switch you can just flip. It's not a finish line you cross. It's actually a byproduct. It's the outcome of your ongoing relationship with yourself, and it's built out of thousands of tiny, consistent, kind choices you make every single day.
And we got to be really clear here. This is not, I repeat, not narcissism. They're completely different. See, a narcissist needs other people to tell them they're great. Their worth comes from being seen as better than. Healthy self-love is internal. It's about living by your own values and having compassion for yourself, especially when you feel vulnerable, which is something a narcissist is terrified of.
Okay, this brings us to what might be the single most important mindset shift in this whole process. It's about moving away from this constant need to fix ourselves and toward a practice of gentle acceptance.
I mean, who hasn't had this thought, right? We tell ourselves, okay, I'll be kind to myself after I lose the weight or after I get the promotion. But this is such a trap. It makes love something you have to earn instead of something you already deserve.
And acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It's not waving a white flag and saying, oh, well, I guess this is my life. Think of it like a map. Before you can figure out how to get to your destination, you first have to know exactly where you are right now. Acceptance is just looking at the map and saying, okay, I am here. Now you can start moving forward.
So you're basically looking at two completely different kinds of fuel for making a change. You can use force, which is powered by self-criticism. I have to change because I'm bad. But that just burns you out. Or you can use willingness, which is powered by self-care. I choose to grow because I care about myself. The action might look the same, but the energy behind it, well, that changes everything.
Okay, so this all sounds good in theory, right? But what does it actually look like day to day? Let's break it down into 5 really small, really simple things you can start doing like today.
These aren't huge, life-altering changes. They're tiny. Number 1, before you go to sleep, just name one thing you did well. Number 2, when that inner critic starts yelling, ask yourself, what would I say to my best friend right now? And then say that to yourself. 3, just let yourself be sad for a minute, without trying to escape it. 4, do one small thing for your future self, like making a cup of tea. And 5, yeah, it feels weird, but just look in the mirror and say, hey, I'm on your side. These are the tiny bricks that build the foundation.
All right, let's talk about that loud, annoying roommate in your head, the inner critic. We can't just evict it, but we can learn to turn down the volume.
There's this great technique for taking its power away. It's all about creating a little bit of space between you and the thought. First, you just have to catch it. Just notice it's there. Then give it a silly name like Mr. Worry or The Judgment Show. This helps you see it's not you, it's just a thought. Then you can gently question it. Is that really true 100% of the time? Finally, try to rephrase it into something more neutral, like, I'm having the thought that I messed up. You're not fighting it, you're just unhooking from its power.
As we start to wrap this up, I just want to leave you with one final thought. Please remember, this is not a race. There is no finish line you have to cross. It's just a practice, something you come back to, day by day, moment by moment.
And if you take away just one single thing from our time together, please let it be this. Your worth is not up for debate. It's not based on your job, your bank account, or what you look like. It's inherent. You deserve kindness and compassion just because you are here.
So just for a moment, let's try this together. Wherever you are, just take a breath and say it quietly, maybe out loud, maybe just in your head, I am enough. Just see if you can feel the truth in those words, even if it's just for a second.
And really, that's where the whole journey begins. Not with some grand dramatic gesture, but with one small, intentional act of kindness. That's what self-love actually looks like in practice. So what's your one small thing going to be today?